Hey guys, Nacho here, and today we're going to talk about Newt, the new fusion that we all love and got, and farming Fire Knight 6 fast for the new Savage event that is coming up because I think a lot of the 10 teams that a lot of people are running are fairly slow, and we could be farming 6 a lot faster, especially if you have a lot of energy to run, mainly if you have more energy than the event is running for. These teams could be very useful for you, or if you just want to spend less time in the game farming Fire Knight. So I hope you enjoy, and there's gonna be quite a few different variations, and these are mostly just gonna be concepts to build off of for a lot of people. So get right into it. And every single one of these teams, all of them, all of them, okay. Cardiel can be replaced with Fatman or Lana Tharl, mainly those two, because they join in everybody with their ally attacks. Cardiel is just who I have built. Okay, I just don't have a booked and mastered Fat Man, and Kreela and Lanicus just aren't as good. So Longbeard works as well. I really enjoy his crew rate aura, so I just built around that for all of my teams here in these examples at least. So we'll just get right into it. The first team here is just using Kimmy and two ally attacks with Stagnite and Newt. Go over the stats, I guess, first before we do the run. Longbeard 262. Again, we used his aura, crit damage, as much crit damage on everybody as you can. You want to go through these waves, like hit them, and hit them dead. Enough accuracy to do nothing. We don't really care about his accuracy. His accuracy doesn't really do much at all. You can get weakened on the boss, like I guess, but it doesn't really change a whole lot. Um, his preset, we open with the ally attack on the first wave. No ally attack on the second wave, and just kind of let him use his A2. And then the third wave, we are opening with the ally attack. So Cardiel, 276 speed. Crit rate again, we use Longbeard's aura, so we don't need crit cap. Crit damage as much as we can. Attack. No ally attacks, no cleanses. Just let him A1 the whole time, and then he's ally attacking on the boss. Pretty straightforward. Kimmy, she doesn't need to be this fast. It's just what I have her. I'm not going to change her build. You can make her a lot faster than this, a lot slower than this. She'll probably work. Like I would recommend having her at least 310, 320 speed. You want her to go twice before the boss goes at minimum. And the faster she is, the more she boosts. If you're having a trouble with your Kimmy speed, the option is to pull Stagnite out and put your Carl in actually. Because Kimmy does bring your decreased speed anyways, so you don't necessarily need Stagnite for the decreased speed. The team works without decreased speed landing at all, anyways. But if your speeds are just a little lower or your Newt's a little slower, your Carl comes in over Stag in a lot of these teams. So Kimmy, we're just using in her preset now, we're just using the A2 on each of the waves to slow them down, get more turns in there, take less damage, and get through them faster because there's less animations from the enemy with them dealing damage and just more of us dealing damage. And then on the boss, I have her opening with the A3, and we shut that off on the waves. So she boosts, gives us increased speed, and we're rolling pretty quick. Stagnite, he's the second fastest here. So Kimmy's the fastest. And in all of these examples, Stagnite is faster than all of the ally attacks. So that actually enables the ally attacks to start breaking the shield a little more, get decreased turn meter on there to help a little of the RNG. Some of the teams do not need any turn meter reduction whatsoever, like you'll see. But this one, it definitely does if you want to keep it going. It's overkill on that end. Like the stats that I have here are way more than enough, as you'll see, to deal with the boss. So Stagnite, we are just actually I meant to have that open and shut off, and then you want to let him freely use this because if you have good DPS, you're not going to come to the second wave with this up, and you can just let him freely use this here. He'll put it down on the boss when he's ready, kind of thing. It's not a big deal. And then Newt, over 245 speed, 250 crit damage, and 300 accuracy is what I would recommend. He doesn't need this much. I'm just like the gear pieces that I have on him. He's way over tuned with accuracy. Just like deal with it. Okay, just deal with it. But that's what I have at him right now. You only need 300 for 6. Don't worry about this. Um, so yeah, let's get into the run. Decrease speed on everybody. Getting Stag out there. And you see, we just plowed the whole wave over. Uh, with the decreased speed on there, us just going and them not going saves a lot of time. My Kimmy does have War Master. She does have 6-star cruelty, which is something I'm not going to take off of her because it's going to cost me a lot of gems. But is what it is on that end. Like I said, a lot of these teams are going to be overkill. It's just kind of the gear I have on them, and I don't really want to tune them down and then change them back again. So you can come down on a lot of these stats, as you'll see. A lot of the runs are just way overdone for what's required for this stage. So yeah, when you have Stag go first, now this ally attack, you actually enable Stag and Newt to put decreased speed and decreased turn meter. Then Kimmy's going at it. And so yeah, even if the decreased speed doesn't land there, you didn't get it from the ally attack, and Kimmy didn't land it because she got 3%. Newt will still go. I haven't had no problems at my speeds, at least. And then the boss just kind of dies pretty quick. Like I was saying, if you do have problems with this one, I would highly recommend putting in Yakarl over Stag. He can just freeze the waves, and you'll have no problem with the waves either. The run might be a little slower. Obviously, you might lose another 30 seconds or something like that, but the waves won't take any turns, so you'll always be doing damage again, and then the boss absolutely won't take a turn. I'm not going to run hundreds of runs with this team, but it definitely works pretty well. The second team I have here is actually the fastest one, and we were going to use a counter attack here, but the double ally attack just ended up being better, even with the Kymar in there. So this actually is really clean. Longbeard again, we use the aura on all of these. I really like the crit rate there. I think that allows a lot better builds than just the 20 speed does, honestly. So we're using Longbeard. We used his aura, so 262 speed, 250 crit damage. We didn't need any accuracy. And then the second wave, no ally attack, just kind of let him do the A2 whenever he wants. And then the third wave, we're opening with the ally attack. Cardiel, again, 276 speed, and he can be replaced by Fat Man or Lana Tharl, preferably one of those two. No ally attack here. With my damage, I don't need to use the ally attacks. If you do have damage problems, you can use the ally attacks here. Just with my damage, I don't need them. It ruins the tune. You can do it on both waves if you really need it. And then you just got to be careful coming to the boss. Make sure you absolutely have it if your damage is really that low. And then Kymar, slow, crit damage, 259. Longbeard's aura, so we didn't need to crit cap him. No reset on the first wave. The A2 actually does pretty good damage. So you could shut this off if you want to do poisons because you put enough accuracy on him. It might outweigh it at your damage. If you don't have enough on him, the poisons could definitely do more than the A2 does. So same thing with the second wave. No reset. And then the third wave, we're just opening with this. If you have a fast Kymar, it works fine. Like if you have an arena Kymar that you want to use for this, you just open with the A1, and then he'll do this after everybody because he'll be first in the turn order the second time they come around, and he'll boost everybody in, and it'll work just the same. You might have a little slower run on the waves as well, but that's what you get when you only run one Kymar. Stag Knight, again, we have 276 speed. He's faster than the ally attacks. That's all that matters. And I know he's the same speed as Cardiel, but he's actually faster. So open with the A2 on the first wave and then shut it off. Second wave, you want to let him use it whenever he's got it off cooldown because you probably won't come to this wave with it. And then on the boss, you want to just start with the A1. That's pretty straightforward on him. Nut, you got to be careful to make sure that you have this off cooldown when you come to the boss if you want the cleanest, quickest boss. So I actually shut this off here. I was using the A2 here and then going into the A3 on the second turn that he took, but then I wouldn't have it up at the boss because I was getting through wave 2 too soon. But if you're not, you can start with the A2 and then let him do the A3 one time. And you probably make it to the boss and still have it, and you get a little through the waves a little quicker. But yeah, then the second wave, you absolutely have to shut this off so he has it on the boss. And then I found it faster to not use the A2. But if you need the decreased attack, the extra freezes and stuff like that, you can absolutely use the A2. It does good damage as well. I just found that my runs were faster when I didn't use it. And then on the boss, just probably the A3, he's slower than both of the ally attacks and obviously Stagnite. So the shield's already broken by the time he takes his first turn. He's actually the slowest, or the second slowest, yeah. So he's going right in with the A3, and then Kaimar is resetting. We're getting ally attacks, and he's doing A3 after the ally attacks again. So let's we'll get into the run. So this run averages between like 15 and 20 seconds through the first wave. The second wave is kind of where the stall is actually. This wave can take up to 35 seconds to get through. Stagnite's the best because his cooldown is 3 turns with the defense down. Marinix might be as good because you don't need the decreased speed for this. But yeah, Stag is definitely your man. Now the HP and defense levels are not min-maxed for a lot of the RNG for this. I would, if you do have any fails, just go with a little bit more. I just built them all with damage. I did quite a few runs and have any problems. But like in that situation there, if he gets crit, maybe he takes a little too much damage. Put a defense ring on him. Not too difficult. So yeah, we're just coming in, do the A3, and then Stag's got decreased defense for the ally attack, so we just do a little bit more damage. And then my Cardiel's fast enough that that turn meter deplete doesn't actually need to happen at all. And then I mean, if you get resisted on 6 turn meter depletes, that's still gonna go. So it's not a big deal at the speeds that I have. It literally does not require accuracy on him to get any turn meter depletes, and this will complete it. No decreased speed required, anything like that. So this will 100% be between, as fast as you can get RNG on the waves. So the fastest you can get through them, the least amount of RNG you'll have on the waves. You'll be able to overcome that a lot easier. The third team actually used my Clan Boss Seeker for Myth Air. I just wanted to see if this one would work. I will show you the run and the team, but I would recommend using like a 250 speed Seeker at least. And maybe potentially Yakarl over Stagnite. It just might be cleaner with a lot of resist on it. I had a handful of good runs with this, maybe 10 or 15 or something like that, but I would definitely make a little more changes to it before I do too much, but I just don't feel like changing my Clan Boss Seeker. So we start with the ally attack on this one with Longbeard. Again, his stats are 262 with enough crit rate, and then crit damage as much as we can get, attack, and then maybe more HP and defense if you're having problems with the waves. It's something to pay attention to on a lot of these teams. A lot of people ignore that part of it, but the HP and defense on a lot of these champions are tuned. Sometimes they're just like the ring has been swapped to a defense or an HP ring, or maybe we're using a different banner, or maybe the chest is an attack banner, or we're trying to use defense based champions, stuff like that, or maybe our ascensions are working for our defense capabilities, right? So, and a lot of times when you're looking at these teams, make sure you are looking at HP and defense on a lot of these champions, and if you do have any problems, just bump them up. Longbeard again, just opening with the ally attack on the first wave. Cardiel, 276 speed, enough crit rate, crit damage, right? The first wave, we opened with the ally attack on this team because needs the damage. It's just not as strong as the other one with Kaimar in it because Kaimar does quite a bit of damage. The second wave, we didn't do it because we want to guarantee that we have it up here. At least with my team, I have too much damage to guarantee that. Like if Cardiel joins in with too many attacks, it just fails on that end. So I've shut it off. You could probably do it with Longbeard like I did here, and you won't have too many problems. And that was kind of like a good middle ground for me. So I just used one ally attack instead of both. If you got more damage than me, maybe you got to shut off both ally attacks, right? And then just make sure you shut off his A2 on all the stages. Seeker, again, this was my Clan Boss Seeker. I just kind of let him do A1 whenever he wants to the first wave, and then open and shut it off so he doesn't excessively use it on the second wave. And then we're opening with this. Stagnite, open and shut off on the first wave. And then let him use the A2 whenever he gets it off cooldown for the second wave. And again, we're opening with the A1 on the boss so that the ally attacks can decrease the turn meter with Newt. And then his stats, we have him faster than the ally attacks, enough crit rate, crit damage, accuracy for the stage. Newt, we start with the A3 on the first wave to kind of just nuke one of the enemies down. We don't want to. I personally didn't want too many counterattacks with the freezes, so I didn't use his A2. If you want to use the freezes to get more security in your run, so that the enemies absolutely only take one turn, go ahead, use it. It won't be a big deal. The second wave, I actually let him use it just because it does a little bit more damage, helps me get through that wave a little bit more, even with the freezes, and made it a little safer, right? So on the boss, I actually preferred to open with the A1 here, just in case Resistor 2 happens on the ally attacks. This one was a little tighter with the slower Seeker. So if you have an extra Seeker or you're using a Bat Eater Seeker, you might not have as much of an issue with this, but my Myth Air Seeker has only got 188 speed. So he wasn't getting that much extra boost on the rest of the team. We'll get right into the run here. So again, we're just ally attacking, getting that guy down, ally attacking, getting that guy down. And then Newt takes him out. Now we really only got 2 guys to deal with, and Seeker provokes one of them right away. And now it's just the Skrank for me, at least in the damage that I have on my team. And now we're just waiting to rotate back. And this is why I use the decreased attack on this wave, because you have to wait back. Stag again. With backup decreased attack and defense. And see, now we get the freeze, because when they attack with no turn meter, they actually get frozen because Newt can't decrease turn meter, so he freezes them, if you ever wondered why that happens. So yeah, between Seeker and the freezes, we control everybody pretty well. And at least with my Cardiel, I heal enough. So if you're having problems, maybe run more HP in defense. Maybe run an Immortal set on somebody. And again, we just have Stag starting off with it. And then we're going into both the ally attacks. So we get turn meter deplete right away. And then I just preferred to have the turn meter start at less than more for the fight. So just in case you get resist on that first hit. So yeah, my team just tanks it. It's not a problem that the boss actually takes that first turn, like, whatsoever. But this is why I would recommend using a faster Seeker for this. Okay, so if you do have one, use it, and that's why. Or you can just build the tank that, and you'll be fine. Like, these are basically built to just do damage, and they tanked it just fine. So you do with that with what you will. I was just trying to use my champions I had built to make things work a little bit more. In here is the Yakarl version with it. We'll go into the stats. Again, Longbeard, crit cap, crit damage, accuracy. Didn't need the accuracy. We just put it on there for the weaken on the waves, right? Just enough for the waves. You don't need that much. Second wave, we don't use the ally attack because we want to guarantee we have it for the boss. You can let him use the A2 whenever he's got it off cooldown. Cardiel, 276 speed, enough crit rate, crit damage, attack. No A2 on any of the waves. Start with ally attack on the first wave. No ally attack on the second wave. Third wave, doing mainly ally attacks. I don't know why I have that off. And then Stagnite, faster than your ally attacks. As speed, and then enough crit rate, crit damage. Let him use this whenever he wants. And open with the A1, so the ally attacks have a little bit of opening on them. Yakarl, I actually just let him use the A3. Let it be a little bit of a slower run, no problem. Fully control the waves. Be casual about it. Have him open with the A3, so you get the decreased speed down right away if Stag doesn't put it on the ally attack. just get a little extra security out of it. Um, and then Newt, and then sorry, I crit capped him and I gave him enough accuracy and crit damage. I put out as much as I could on your Carl. Newt, we already went over his build, but again, 245 crit capped, 250 crit damage, 300 accuracy. That's what I would recommend for this. I use his A2 because they're all getting frozen from your Carl, so we didn't work. They're already going to get frozen. Wasn't really a big deal. You can actually use, or yeah, I wanted to open and shut that off, so I just let him use that. Or we could do that. Sorry, adjust my preset as I'm doing the video a little bit, but I tested these teams probably 10 times each, and I was just trying to get quite a few more teams put together to show you guys what you could start doing with them. Not all of these are completely tuned to a T, so maybe build on the concepts a little bit. I don't necessarily need all of these teams, so I'm just trying to help you guys. And then Newt, we are A2ing on the first wave, A2ing again, and then starting with the A1 on the first wave. So yeah, actually freezing them helps a little bit if you don't have that much damage because you skip the animations of all the enemy, and every time you do that, you save 20 to 30 seconds per wave. They just instead of doing like their defense downs and their A3s and stuff like that. Like and yeah, we just move our way through the waves here. Not too bad. Maybe a bolster set on somebody or a shield set could help you through the waves if you're having a little struggle with that. Get you a little more survivability. But yeah, here right off the rip, we're just plowing the turn meter down. Boss basically got no chance. We again, I just preferred to start in case we get a few too many resist off the ally attacks. Just start with the boss on no turn meter, and then we go Yakara right into it, and then we're just chilling, letting Newt rotate back one more time, and the boss will be dead. Get a little help from Yakara, which we probably wouldn't exactly need, but just in case you want to try and bring the build requirements down, or the secret team was kind of a little scuffy, right? I'm not like trying to overhype that one, but this is a fairly strong option at around 2 minutes, so a lot of people can start getting into this. And then actually, now this is the last one that I have for you. I figured I'd do a little bit of a martyr team so people can get an idea of how you want to do this. Um, Longbeard again, 262 crit rate, crit damage. And then we use the ally attack on both of the waves. And the third wave, we want to open with the A1. So we're going to actually set up this whole rotation on the second turn of the boss instead of the first one, like a lot of these other ones. So a lot of these champions will just be wasting their first turn, and then we'll set up on the second one after we get some counterattacks in there, and we can start controlling the boss that way. Pythion, just leave his revive on if you need to. He's in bolster, as so is Martyr. You only need a bolster or shield set on one person. You don't need them on both. And your Pythion only needs to be faster than the boss. So I figured I'd show you him at 156 speed. It's not a big deal. Martyr, sorry, and then Pythion, you actually want to open with a 2 on the boss. Martyr, we want to shut off the counterattack on both of the waves. Let her do the A3 whenever she's got it. Get a little bit extra damage there. And then start with the A2 on the boss so you can get the counterattacks on the first attack. Sorry, I should go over her stats. She's 256 speed, 100 crit rate. I had her built separately, so I didn't change her build. You could use the Longbeard aura. You could use her aura. And then crit damage, enough accuracy for the provoke actually is pretty helpful. And then, yeah. Stag Knight, again, we're just opening with the A2 on the wave 1 and closing it off, and then letting him use it when it's off cooldown here, starting with the A1 here, because he's one of the faster ones. He's faster than my ally attacker. You could run him slower than the ally attacker, and you'd get a defense down on the boss a little quicker, but Martyr also has defense down on her A1, so you have a pretty good chance to get that going. His stats again, he's 276, crit cap, crit damage, accuracy for the stage. Newt, we are using the A3 opener here. Let him use the A2 whenever he's got it. I'm not using the A3 here at all. And then opening with the A1 on the opener so he can get set up and do it. Into it. And yeah, the provoke actually helps save a little bit of time on the second wave, mainly because got the Venus is here. So if you don't need the provoke, you're going through it good enough, and the second wave is giving you more problems because there's defense down here or something like that. You could start with Pythion's A2 also, and then shut it off if you're really having a problem with the with the Venus A2s. At the boss, about 50 seconds again. Works pretty well. And yeah, we're just setting up again for the second turn. We want block debuffs so we don't get the decreased speed mainly. The decreased defense isn't so bad on this stage, but the decreased speed can really start to affect some teams. Get the counter attacks in there. And now we have Stag actually doing the A3 because you can't make him A1 twice. And then we just deplete the turn meter here. Defense down for Martyr. And it's not a big deal if the boss does take another turn here. We are actually just setting up to make just enough time for this counter attack to come up again. And then between Pythion's passive and everybody else, like even if you don't get, you get some resist, you don't get the decreased speed, like all these things, like you should have no problem tanking that hit there. And then you'll reset up for this, and then Newt just kind of gets it done there as soon as he rotates back one time. So you don't need to make that much time for him. It's just a little bit of time, and even if you do get a little bit of RNG there, it's just the one hit you got to tank, and then the counter attack will reset you up, and you'll be good to go. So I hope you've all enjoyed the teams today. We brought you 5 different teams. All of them could be built on a little bit. Not going to say they're all perfect, but I hope they get a few more of you into the Fire Knight. And again, if you didn't hear at the very beginning of the video, any team that Cardiel is used in, Fat Man can be reused in, or Lana Tharl can be used in because he brings a giant shield. So I would highly recommend using those champions. I just don't have them built. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a good one.